Hi, everybody. Welcome to Katie in the Morning. I'm Katie Page, Director of Member Relations at the National Association of Healthcare Assistants. And our segment today might make your skin itch just a little bit. We're going to take on the three monsters of skilled nursing. The first one is C. diff. The second one, MRSA. We're taking on C. diff, MRSA, and Scabies. We're going to tell you a little bit of the truth about that, what kind of precautions you need to take if you're in a resident's room who has had contact with this or has it actively, and kind of how long the incubation period is for each of these. They run rampant in skilled nursing just because certified nursing assistants, nurses, housekeepers, dietary are in and out of rooms constantly. And without the proper notification and the proper PPE, it can spread from room to room at a very, very rapid rate. So we're going to go ahead and start with C. diff. I'm going to pull something up on the screen for you guys so you can kind of see it. C. diff is actually a bacteria that causes infections in the colon. And if you've ever been around C. diff, you know that smell. Once you've smelled that smell, it sticks with you for the rest of your life. And that's probably the easiest way to identify it besides the loose stools and kind of that coffee ground type substance or texture that it has. The graph right now shows the effects of C. diff on the colon within the first 36 hours of exposure. I'm 100% positive you guys are all capable of reading that, so I'm not going to read it to you. But the precautions when it comes to C. diff, of course, are gloves. Depending on the person's situation, if they have like the explosive type bowels, you might want to wear a gown in there. Just talk to your DON or your staff development coordinator or your infection control nurse, especially, to see what kind of precautions you want to use in that room, depending on the case-to-case scenario with each resident. C. diff can spread rapidly. Actually, I got in trouble once. I was like 19 or 20 at the time, and a resident came back from the hospital with C. diff, and the nurse was telling us a report, and I just went off like, that stuff's going to spread through here like a plague, and da-da-da-da-da-da, and little did I know that a family member could hear me in the room next to me, or in the room next to the nurse's station. So I actually that's a HIPAA violation for you guys, in case you didn't know that one. I know, because that's a red right up for Katie. But I learned from my mistake and, just kind of keep on trucking along. The second one is either MRSA or Scabies. Which one did I have on the roster for next? Scabies is the next one. This one is microbite or a micromite that gets under your skin. It's a little bug, and they usually, if you're looking for scabies, they usually go in a straight line. They can get on their clothes, on their bedding. We had a situation in one of the facilities that I worked in that a lady came in from the hospital, and the hospital actually did not tell us that she had scabies until 3 days after she was there. So there was a scabies outbreak on that unit, and it was just a repetitive thing trying to treat it. And the precautions for scabies, of course, keep your hair up, good hand washing with all of these, good hand washing. But scabies, everything needs to be washed just like head lice, disinfected, throw it out if you can. If that resident is something that they don't care about anymore, get rid of it. And I actually ended up catching scabies from this lady. My son was 3 months old, so the entire family had to be treated, myself, my husband, and my 3-month-old little boy. But it was just like a revolving door. The 3-day period in which she was there, it spread from room to room to room. And once we treated somebody, it was on the other side of the hall, and then that person caught it again. It was just everywhere. It can get on your clothes, it can get on your hands. Any exposure that you have to that person, just make sure you wear your gloves, make sure you wear your gown that makes you feel 140 degrees when you're in that room trying to work with that person, the sweat's dripping down your face. Those aren't exactly the most ventilated things out there. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to take on MRSA.
When you have satisfied and content CNAs, the care is better, and you're going to have less nursing assistant turnover.
So many times I think they're just, in the trenches and nobody hears, nobody cares about them, and it's not true. It's simply not true. And this organization helps them gain that voice and helps them be heard.
We're awesome, and I'm going to hold my head high, and I'm going to ride this magic carpet, and I'm going to change the world. That's what NACA did for me.
For more information, visit us online at nacacna.org or call 417-623-6049. CNA TV every Friday at 3 p.m. Central Time for long-term care news with Dane Henning.
Welcome back to Katie in the Morning. Today we're talking about the three monsters of healthcare. We talked about C. diff and we talked about scabies, and now we're going to move on to MRSA. MRSA is actually a staph infection that resides in tissue. It's probably the hardest one to treat out of the three because it becomes resistant to antibiotics. The main thing that you're looking for with treatment of MRSA is keeping that area clean. If there is wound drainage, make sure that the nurses are taking the proper precautions with that when they're getting the wound drained. And once again, hand washing, hand washing, hand washing. The thing with MRSA is, since it resides in tissue, it can come in more than one form. You could have MRSA of the lungs, and then it would be airborne. You could have MRSA in the bowels, and then there's your PPE for that. It could be a wound, and then you're just looking at the gloves as your precaution. So like I said with the C. diff back before, depending on the case-to-case scenario, make sure you're checking with your infection control nurse, your DON, your charge nurses to see what kind of precautions you need to take before you're going to that room. And with all three of these, make sure you are washing your hands. That is the number one thing to prevent these from spreading from room to room. MRSA has a longer healing time because it not only resides in the tissue, but it can also decay the tissue as well with that infection settling in there. So the recovery time is a little bit longer than the other two as well. Thank you guys for all joining me today, and I will see you guys right back here on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend.